And welcome back to New Realities. I am Alan Steinfeld, and this program is an ongoing conversation about life in the cosmos, really, like what's going on. I just wrote this book called Making Contact. I have a really great guest today, Rob Potter, who's putting on a fantastic conference coming up on Mount Shasta. Rob, just tell them about the conference and maybe I'll make you a little guest host, and you can also tell people
Sure.
about how you get there. I'm making you a co-host there, so
Okay.
you you can show Rob Potter, and then we'll talk about what you think is going on Venus. But let's talk. Let's look at the conference because this is where people really tune in. They want to know what's going on. So share your screen about the
Look at that.
conference.
So I have a website called thepromiserevealed.net, and I've been a contactee for 38 years of face-to-face contacts. When I was 17 with Dr. Fred Bell in Laguna Beach. He was having contacts with Semyasi. I was witnessing the ships come down, and I was there when he got on board a craft, and he took the craft up and piloted it. He eventually went to the planet Era and did a little tour of the planet. And he was given a lot of technology regarding pyramids, crystals. And when he passed away, I took over. And I have my own website now, and this is it. It's called thepromiserevealed.net. This is the homepage here. I'm showing you the back end, but I have different products. This comes from the an alchemist and the Inner Earth group trying to help humans recover their DNA. I have a blog called the Truth References blog section with a lot of amazing information. This, of course, is the conference. I got a lot of great people here. All you do is you click on this. It's the first banner that comes up. And when you click on this banner, it should take you right there to the summer conference. There's all the information you can find. We have workshops, a daily schedule. We have some vendors and stuff. And then we talk about the reality of who's sending these messages to me, the Venusians. I'm getting voice recorded messages. And this comes through my friend who I've dedicated this conference to, Dr. Raymond Keller, who got to live on Venus for 2.5 months. And this very kind gentleman. He's also a time traveler. He's written a lot of books um, on Venus, and we were going to talk about life on Venus. And I thought I would just go into the book section. I've written the introductions of some of his books, but this one here is you want to talk about life on Venus. This book here is called Rockets to Venus. And I have a little book where I have been given recorded messages of the Venusians, giving the first ever video and voice recorded message to humanity. Now they're
Well,
doing
we're
all.
going to get into all that, and I'm really happy you talked about the conference. You do have some of my favorite people, some best friends there. And is it on the mountain or is it in the town of Shasta?
In the town, I actually have three different buildings in two different locations. One is the community lodge on 629 Alder, which doubles as a Masonic lodge downstairs. And then in the city park where people get water, you've probably been here, um, in the upper lodge and in the lower lodge, I have three buildings with 30 speakers running, you know, 8 hours a day, if not more.
Right. Well,
So
I
we have.
can't do it this year, but I think I'm going to Roswell, but I will do it next year. But tell us, so we're talking about life on Venus. I'm not like, I mean, science tells us a lot of nonsense, like there's, you know, but Venus and Mars, these were kind of popular destination places for the early UFO people like Adamski, right? George Adamski would say, "Oh yeah, they're from Mars or Venus." Then we started to move further out. And now people are saying they're from the Pleiades or Sirian, Arcturian. Well, and science, of course, maybe they're hiding the fact. But what makes you think there's life on Venus?
I know there's life on Venus because I've met the people from there. Number one,
What?
okay, I'll start off from when I was
Yeah,
young. There was
yeah.
a
Thanks.
very famous contactee named Gabriel Green, and he taught me a lot about contacts. He was a friend of George Adamski, George Van Tassel, Dr. Frank Stranges. I was very close with him, who met Valiant Thor at the Pentagon, and who was an evangelical preacher sharing the message of love, peace, and hope from the Venusians. The reason the Venusians and the people from Mars are obviously they're our closest neighbors.
Mhm.
So we have a close relationship with them. Venus is the highest manifestation of love in the solar system, and they are our guardian planet. Now, we all have life within our inner Earth, what we call Asgard. We are Midgard on the surface, and the heavenlies would be called Wagonaut in our ancient, uh, you know, uh, myths and things like this. So there's obviously, J.J. Hurtak, we're not alone. We never have been alone, and we never will be alone. The fact
Right.
that we've been hidden to the truth is simply due to a control network of interlopers and invaders who have taken over the planet. But their time is done. Literally, it's over. They are dissolving as we speak. The control network is broken down. But the Venusians have been our guardian planet and have been very much involved in saving the planet from a lot of hostile forces for a long time. There have been some negative forces that have been allowed to be here, part of some cosmic laws that are allowing that. But I'll just say that their planet came here 25, the people from Venus came from the planet in Tau Ceti called Norca 25 million years ago. And they've had a life on the surface of Venus and underground more recently.
But let me just ask you, science, and we don't know
Not
if we can
science,
believe them. No, no,
not
but
science.
they send these probes to Venus. They say the
44
atmosphere.
of them. If there's no life, why have they sent 44, Alan?
Wait, no. So let's go through the science. So when was the first probe they sent to Venus?
I think it was a long time ago. I better pull up Raymond's book so I can just bust out some facts for you.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. No, I think people need to hear the facts.
yeah.
I'm not. Yeah, do that. I'm talking to Rob Potter. That's Mount Shasta behind him, and there's some stars. Rob is doing the upcoming Mount Shasta conference, which
Hold on,
should.
just think cat,
What's that?
you're upstairs.
Yeah, I'll keep talking. So that is the Promise Revealed website there, and I'm going to be talking to him today, really about. He's going to prove it to me, so I'm convinced that there probably might be, could be, perhaps life on Venus. I mean, we do think there's life in other worlds, but Venus, our closest neighbor, our Earth twin. I mean, Earth and Venus are about the same size. Venus, of course, is the second planet from our sun, and Earth is the third, and Mars is the fourth. But it's always interesting that we are caught between the planet of love and the planet of war. So, Venus, could there really be life on Venus? I think there is life underground. I think there is a civilization inside the Earth. This book I wrote, Making Contact, talks about a lot of the different life forms throughout the universe. But Venus, this is new to me. So let's talk about facts first, and then we'll talk about, because I'm open. Okay, science, I think starting in the early 60s, they sent probes to Venus, and and it does have a thick cloud covering. Can we agree about that?
Yeah, there's a look at the surface. There's a large volcano. It does have a cloud cover. They've actually just said that there's life on Venus because they were seeing a bunch of lights. There's bees that live in the upper atmosphere that feed there that have a phosphorescence. Also, there's water on Mars and water on Venus. It's all lies, lies, lies. Never a straight answer. So
No, no, but why have they not showed us? Have they found life as the government found, or are they ignorant of the fact that there's life there too?
Alan, come
They're
on. You're
ignorant.
fighting
Okay,
about
thank
common
you.
sense. They're
Thank you.
lying. They're lying. They're lying. They're lying.
Now, why do they want to lie about? Why don't we just send a ship to Venus and land on the surface?
They can't. The-
Why
They're,
not?
they're, well, they block most of the stuff. They did the Japanese stuff. They reported it. See, the truth gets out, like when Russia sends a probe, and then they cover it up. So, this book is filled with uh, uh,
Are there cities on Venus?
yes, there are. On the surface, they're mostly in the northern hemisphere. in the temple city called Azure, and in the lower in the lower, say around below Bolivia, and then up above like Canada area.
Right. But
Yeah.
are they oxygen breathing? Is there
Yes.
oxygen? So
Yes, they're in the
we,
fourth dimension. It's a paradise planet. Dante went there, and so did Emanuel Swedenborg and many other of our
but what do
historians.
you mean it's a fourth dimension? It's 3D. It exists as a 3D world, right?
The fourth dimension is time, and they have conquered time.
Uh-huh.
And that technology um, allows them to extend their lifespan and also allows them to view the Akashic records.
I did meet a guy who said he met this woman, Viv from Venus. You know about Viv from Venus?
Yeah,
There's a whole book by her. I actually have a copy of that book too. But
yeah.
so what? Why don't they help us out? We're having a hard time here on planet Earth. Or is it that the and I mean,
They are helping us out. We would be destroyed if it wasn't for them. Let's go back to a Saurian invasion that was attempted back in the times of Greece.
okay, what happened?
Okay, what happened was is they were doing battle with them and they kicked them off the
Oh,
earth.
The Assyrians, you're saying?
The Venusians kicked off
Oh,
the Saurians. It was a reptilian race that came to
oh,
the planet, and they kicked them off. And in the final battle, the queen of Venus, her name was Victoria. Her ship crash landed on Mount Olympus. That's where the stories of the gods on Olympus came from. At a certain point in time, they were trying to repair their ship, and the inhabitants, the generals, they had images of her and statues, and they were doing sacrifices to her to win the battles. And she came down and said, "I'm not a god of war. Destroy that statue immediately." And that's what happened. Queen Victoria, in honor of that battle, the Venusian fleet, Valiant Thor, lives on a ship called Victor One.
wait. But Rob, how do you know all this? Where is this written? I'm not doubting. I just want to
I
know
can tell you,
where.
this is Valiant Thor. This is
Oh, you have to take off your background there. But okay, I see it. Yeah,
that's
there it is.
ship.
I've heard about Valent. Is that him calling now? No.
Yeah, no, that's not Val. I
Okay.
have had questions and answers from him. This is
Okay.
the
Now, who was Valiant Thor? I've heard that name. What is that? What do we look? What's the back of that? Was that a map of Venus?
that was a map of the inside of the spaceships. Let me remove the background for you.
That's okay. You can answer it. We're
I'm
just live, and
not,
people.
can't answer it.
Oh,
So
that's okay. So talk about why are we looking at where was that that distant galaxy? We just built the Webb telescope so we can look at life 30,000 years, that's light years away. When right next door, it's what, a day's travel to Venus with a high speed ship. I mean, why
yeah,
is it Elon Musk going to Venus?
they're not allowed to go to Venus.
Well, talk about the laws restricting people going to Venus. Yeah.
Well, Venus is a sovereign planet, and they're not going to have any nonsense up there the way the government. See, they came here in earnest in the 1940s due to the nuclear weapon. That's when Howard Menger, who I've met, I took him to Egypt in 1991. I was trying to take Dr. Frank Strange's, but the people ended up taking some other guests to Venus. So I'm trying to pull up the. There it is. Get rid of my background. I can show you some interesting stuff here. So it's
I mean,
pretty.
it does seem ridiculous that we're going way out in space to look for life, and it's right. I mean, why wouldn't it be right next door? Life is an emergent property of creation, so what's here is probably everywhere.
There's
Okay,
life on every planet in the solar system.
what are we looking at here?
We're looking at the inside of the Victor One spaceship. So
It's
these are around,
this is a Venusian spaceship, you're
yeah,
saying?
100 yards across.
Okay,
So
and
they have a
what?
whole ecosystem in there, and they guard the planet. Each of these ships, there's 12 major locations, and they have two sister ships guarding them in the higher dimension. So the reaction time is quicker if anything was to take place. They've been monitoring people in the government, up to 2,000 to 3,000 people, every word, thought, deed, and action. monitoring. They have the ability to look through anything. They can look through the entire earth, stop in the middle and look at something, or look inside a house, look inside a shoebox. They have very high technology. This and with this tremendous technology comes responsibility. And they're not about silver spaceships and silver spacesuits. They are here to return us to the laws of teaching and to the divine universal creator's law. So that's the message of the Venusians, is to not focus on the spaceships and spacesuits, but to focus on being kind to one another. I think they could speak better for themselves if you allow me to play a recording
Oh, of course, I'd love to talk about how big is the population of Venusians?
on the physical plane. It's only about 5 million people.
Okay,
So
on the physical plane. Okay,
yeah, on the physical plane. So I'm
yeah.
gonna play
Do
a yeah.
optimize sound too, so we can hear it. So,
I'm not sure how that happens.
why is more people? Why are you sort of one of the few people ever talking about it? Most people talk about
That's all
Syrian.
we talked about. George Adamski, George Van Tassel, Orville Angelucci,
But that was
Daniel
50 years
Fox.
ago.
And
Why are no?
it hasn't
Yeah.
stopped. It just hasn't been in vogue. There's lots of contactees. They work very closely with our musicians, with our scientists. Valiant Thor worked uh, Eisenhower asked Val, he said, "Can you help us? Our pilots are dying in the um, in the aircraft. We're doing tests, and our people are dying." And so he actually helped us um, get what we call the G suits, the water to keep so that people wouldn't pass out and die on the plane.
Wait, who was Valiant Thor? I heard that name. Where was he from? Was he Venusian?
He is actually not Venusian. He appeared there one day. He was adopted by the Thor family.
Mhm.
Valiant Thor is from a higher dimension. He's a created being. He was not born of a woman. He has
Mhm.
no belly button. I've met him in 2003. I met the other gentleman. First, let me play you the Queen of Venus.
Okay. Okay. Great.
This is
Thank
to
you.
my last, and I'll play some of the meet the Venusian images of the Venusians, and I'll show you some pictures of Venusians while this
Great.
recording plays.
Great. I'm excited. Thank you. Thank you for
This is
being on the show.
this is a
Yeah.
message that played to uh, a audio message that played to my guests at last year's conference. We will have another message directly from her, but you can listen to this one here.
My dear friends of Venus, this is the Queen, Order of Aberhar, welcoming all to this very important Hierarchy of Light conference at beautiful Mount Shasta in Northern California on this 26th day of August 2021. Our special thanks are extended to Robert Potter of The Promise Revealed for organizing this conference. Aberhar is the true name for the planet you refer to as Venus, which is truly a paradise world. Aberhar occupies space and time in both the third and fourth dimensions, and in our Norcan language signifies planets of the bees, because various species of sentient bees are the indigenous life forms there. We, the humanoids inhabiting Aberhar, originally hail from a planet called Norca in the solar system of the star you know as Tau Ceti. You of Earth also share some connections with Norca, as well as many other planets in our spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, planets that you will be hearing more about throughout the proceedings of this conference. The Galactic Confederation of Light consists of 601 planets from 51 solar systems in our Milky Way galaxy. May the infinite creator speed the way when you, the inhabitants of the Earth, will be ready for your planet to take its place in our Galactic Confederation of Light, the day when we formally receive our designated ambassadors into our courts on high. In our solar system, there are two courts, my royal administrative courts on Venus in our capital city of Azure,
This
and
is her.
the Judicial Council on
Okay. She looks Venusian.
4
Okay.
days of this conference. I can assure you that many of our contingent are walking among you, clandestinely, of course. Some of you may sense our presence telepathically. We highly esteem and value each and every one of you. You are the special ones, enlightened to the realization that we are real and that you have a definite connection with us on many, many levels. We look forward to interacting with you throughout the conference. There has been an augmentation of the Venus frequencies of love reaching our planet, and at this time, our transmitters have been particularly focused on this area of Northern California. These are transformative frequencies, to be sure, facilitating and increasing those powers latent within you that will, with the exercise of them, permit you to accomplish wonderful deeds on a multidimensional level. You are about to surprise yourself, beginning to realize all that you are truly capable of. Some of those on your planet in New Age and UFO circles have expressed disappointment that we of Abahar have not been as political as they would like to see us be. As our commander, Aura Reigns of the Moonbase Clarion has said, the fate of your world is in your own hands. The political systems that you create to manage your progress or lack thereof on the earth should be of your own making. This is in keeping with the sovereignty due you as a sentient species. We have, however, on occasion, worked behind the scenes to promote those conditions on Earth which work to maintain the peace and security within the Earth-Moon system as well as our solar system overall. To all participants in this conference, seekers of enlightenment, guest speakers, organizers, vendors, our heartfelt love is extended to you all, and to all of those unable to attend for various reasons. We of Abahar want you to know that you too shall be encompassed about by the love and light which has been extended to you through our registered discs and ventilers conducting an area reconnaissance in your area, searching for those of the pure heart emanating with the divine spark of the infinite creator. This is the Queen Order of Abahar, wishing you all a most safe and joyous conference 26 through 29 of August 2021. Celestial blessings always. Thank you for making this important Venus connection. I'm looking forward.
So that was for last year. You'll know she has a Spanish accent.
Yeah, I was asking, curious about that accent. Is it Spanish? I guess it is.
Spanish. She was born in 1585
Uh-huh.
in the Basque region. Her parents gave her to a nunnery in 1590. At the age, after 10 years of servitude in the nunnery, she was a seamstress. She made herself a boy's uniform, cut her hair, stole a single silver candlestick, and was making her way to Barcelona to join her brother, who was in Brazil on a mission for the Holy Church, the conquistadors. On the way, she was found herself in a hayloft sleeping, and an angel appeared to her, crackling, vibrant, and said, "The authorities are after you. Travel only at night. Take the southern route. When you arrive, go to the bishop so-and-so and confess that I have visited you. And I promise you this and that." So she went, she followed those instructions. She appeared as a boy and she confessed. He said, "I believe you." And so he said, "Look, you're going to continue to dress as a boy and you're going to be part of my security force and head to Brazil in 2 years. We're preparing a journey." And she got there and eventually a conquistador found out she was a woman, tried to rape her, and she killed him. And she ran to the bishop, and the bishop granted her sanctuary, and the military, they both wrote a letter to the Pope, and the Pope said, "Send her to me, I want to talk to her." And so a boat, after they got the letter back, the boat took her to Italy, and the Pope gave her a special seal that allowed her to create a cadre of male and female conquistadors to protect the Spanish women from the raping and pillaging of the unruly Spaniards.
What does this have to do with Venus, though?
I'm coming to that. So she found out that she was not aging. Okay. And so she disappeared, had to disappear. She kept following up all the Spanish fathers all the way up to California. And she found herself in Solano, California, and there was a Russian fur trapper. And she started talking to him because, up in Mount Shasta, they have all kinds of lights and so forth and so on. And, if you're seeking for some answers, there's mysteries of supposedly this and that. So she gets up there, she immediately goes back, gets 4 pack mules, and heads straight up to Mount Shasta.
This is what year about? What year would you say that is?
This is in 1830. She's 245 years old at this point.
Okay.
So she doesn't know why she's aging. Obviously, she's been around. But all of a sudden, there's the same fur trapper. I don't know where she met him, but he took her up. He revealed to himself that he was the very angel that she had met. Now, we know of this angel in our modern day esoteric studies as the disciple, the accidental disciple, the one who died on the cross with Christ. He said, "You'll be with me this day in paradise." That was the one that they call Lord Dismas. We would know him as the Ascended Master El Moria.
Mm-hmm.
He has been appointed by Christ as the regent of Venus. The Venusians, since they have intimate relationship with the bees, do live on. Nikola Tesla's from Venus. He was placed as an orphan on a doorstep in Serbia. He talked about the perfect society be one based on the bees, and the bees do have a very unique society of unity and stuff that we could probably not quite move into at this point in our understanding. But they do have a queen, and the queen is based not on royalty or genetics. It's based on service and love. And
Wait. So this woman goes to Shasta in the 1830s, and how does she connect with the Venusians there? I mean, how does she realize?
A portal with an ascended master and became a dual citizen of Venus, and then she came and went like everyone else in a spaceship.
Wait, so there is still a portal on Mount Shasta. That's why people go there to Venus. Like you walk through that. Is that where people think they go when they go to Telos? Is it really Venus?
Venus? Okay. Telos is an ancient Venusian colony from Lemuria established there 30,000 years ago. And they do have, not everyone on Venus is Venusian. There are many Saturnians and other species of races within our solar system living on various worlds and in other dimensions. There's 60 planets, including what I believe are the blue avians. I have a picture of them in a book from a girl that visited Venus, one of these other Venusians.
Wait, so where have you looked for that portal on Shasta? Because you're up at
There's many entrances, and one of the guys at my conference, Lowell Johnson, this right about now actually is his 2-year anniversary when he was sitting there meditating up against a rock with his AirPods in, and his phone went dead. He looked at it, took out his earpods, he felt a breeze behind his back, and where there was a mountain, there was a hole.
I know. I have a whole interview with Lowell about that on this YouTube channel. So he's going to be at the conference, but he's one of the few that actually were able to find that portal. But is there? No.
There's lots of entrances, and there's no portal. They open it up for people. The only way you get in is invitation only.
So this is how this woman, and is this woman now the queen of the Venusians, you said?
Yeah, let me share a screen with you again here.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
You can kind of grasp who she is. So these
I'm open to all this, Rob. I want to say it's new information for me, but why not? I believe stranger things than this. So yeah.
This is the moon-based Commander Aura Reigns, and I'll take you through
this blonde woman you're saying? Is she?
Yeah. Now look here. Yeah. She's a dual citizen of Earth. She has an Earth life. This is Raymond Keller at 55. This is the Queen of Venus, Lady Orda. I'll show you who she really is. Okay, these are two now translated Venusians. This woman was born in 1982. This woman was born in 1885. Through their
1895.
1885. She was born. And they served in India together in the Christian Socialist movement. And this woman on the left, the blonde woman, Mrs. Annabelle Krebs, was taken to Venus in 1950. and returned in 1961. She served on the Venusian Angel Force on a parallel Earth after they had destroyed them. So
Why did they take her? Why did they take this woman?
because she had been of great service. I'll take you through. This is the Queen here.
That's the woman who was born in Spain and Basque country, you're
She
saying?
hasn't changed. Let me show you another picture of her. This is her with George Adamski. She was the contact that George Adamski had.
How do you get to be a queen of Venus if you're not born on Venus? I guess they don't care about it.
No, it's by her. She's from Venus. Her first
Oh,
incarnation was as a matriarchal leader of a Siberian horse tribe of women, and her name was Lady Orda. That's why her name here, when she met Adamski, she said, "Tell them I'm Orthon, a man, because the Earth people can't accept a woman in a position of responsibility." Here she is again. Notice her sandals. Her sandals. This picture was taken in 1954 at Palomar. Her and a Martian and a Venusian, or a Saturnian and a Martian, accompanied her at George Adamski's. They came in late. This guy was really tall with the glasses, and the people started thinking they're having some weird sex cult. But these are the sandals. She really likes them. Now here she is with Raymond in 1972.
Ah.
There she is with him and notice she's holding something. Okay, let's go back here. What is she holding? This is a security device. It's called a Nimbus. Now I'm going to really blow your mind. Here's Raymond Keller. And I don't normally share this, but he's been given a Nimbus.
What is a Nimbus? Okay, well,
Nimbus, it's Harry Potter got the name, but they call it a Nimbus. It's a small device that is a transportation.
I have to say that that picture you showed before of Keller and the woman looks like it's been collaged together. They don't look like they're.
Well, they were on a military base, and he's a military guy back then, so he took it out. It could be. So and
Right.
That's another aspect, but I can tell you from Raymond Keller's 9 books on Venus, they call him the Venusian historian.
What is he showing us now?
He's activating his Nimbus. A guy is turning on a laser because he said, "Look, see the buffer behind his butt? There's no light." He said, "When I turn it on, there will be a buffer."
All right, and what does that mean? What?
That means he just disappeared. Okay, so what happened was I don't show that very often, and there's only there's only 60 views on YouTube. It's kind of hidden, but it's a real deal. So he's highly trusted. He's a wonderful kind of gentleman here. So this is another message.
Where is Keller now? Where is he living?
He lives back in Virginia.
He's not going to be at Shasta this summer, is he?
He'll be here, yeah. He's in Austria right now. I just got back from Austria. We did a presentation there.
So is there anything special that the Venusians want to tell us right now in our history? I mean, we're at a critical point, and it'd be nice to know what they're trying to tell us, because
I asked them a lot of questions about stuff, right?
Yeah.
So they said, "Rob, stop obsessing on the dark side," right? So when JJ was giving a talk in Europe, Raymond and I were here in Austria.
Take off the screen share. Take off the screen share so we can see.
Yeah. So Raymond and I were in Austria.
This is you in Austria with the woman from. Where is she from? Venus.
Yeah, we were playing the recording for him.
All right, but the woman herself is one of the people who've been there.
She's been serving the Earth for over 300 years. She's a 6-dimensional being, and she lowers her vibration to serve the Earth. She has an Earth life as well. So
is she coming to your conference too?
Maybe in a different body, but they have the ability to change shape or form in bodies. They can create a dinosaur can appear as a woman or whatever. They have that ability.
So do you predict that the U.S. government will eventually send ambassadors there to tell us?
The U.S. government will not be existing anymore. It will be the people. The contactees, such as myself and Raymond Keller, will become the ambassadors.
Well, how will we get there?
Someone else. They already have several people they're working with, much higher, more developed contacts than I do.
But can they? What? Yeah, her voice sounded strange. Have you met her again? Was that the last?
I have not met her. The other Venusian.
How do you get the recordings from her for each year, though?
It's given to me through Raymond.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dear,
So,
Yeah, it sounds very mechanical, though, in a way.
no, the first one I could play you is perfect, no sound. She did that one on Earth. It's not mechanical.
Oh, let's hear her. Let's hear that. I'd like to. I think, this is
Yeah,
like, this is why I do this program. So discover new realities. And if there's
absolutely.
there's
So,
information that people
yeah,
can evolve
this is
from.
let me. You want to hear the one where she talks about tachyons and shows her knowledge of science, or do you want to hear the one
Yeah,
that?
well, I'd rather hear one with a really uplifting message for Earth. And
Okay, here's another message. Then I'll go ahead and play this one.
Keller's been around a long time, according to my friend Narda. And
Oh yeah.
but now something else is happening for people who are waking up to other dimensions. So, okay, let's hear that.
Let me see. Oh, then I'm gonna
But
have to go into the other. For some reason, it's not playing on there. I'm gonna pull it up real
uh,
quick here.
that's
And
okay. But I want to say, Rob, you're one of the few people willing to talk about this now. So why is that?
through a hierarchy of lights
I'm
of
not
your
afraid of
sister
anyone.
planets
I'm
Abihar
gonna tell the truth no matter what.
extends joyous greetings to the inhabitants of the earth. This is Queen Order of Abihar speaking to you on a recorded message delivered to our emissary, the incarnation of Publius Virgilius Maro, the one commonly known amongst you as the Cosmic Ray, Dr. Raymond Keller, the author of the Venus Rising trilogy of books, on Sunday, 10th February 2018. You should be receiving this message on the night of Valentine's Day, Wednesday, 14th February 2018, over Rain's Radio. Our love and thanks are also extended to our cosmic brothers Jeff Ramsey, Frank Chile, and all the other brothers and sisters working diligently behind the scenes at Rain's Radio, bringing to the public's attention the truth that is out there, the truth about intelligent life forms filling the immensity of space and their visitations to Earth in the Ventus, beam ships, SOPs, Merkabas, and other ethereal star vessels that your military and political authorities have erroneously referred to as unidentified flying objects. The
Well,
planet Abihar
well,
also
Rob,
know it.
I just want to ask you some questions because it's a
Station
little hard to
also
hear.
peace
Okay.
in the solar system. Your ancestors from the remote
Okay, that's a little too difficult for you to hear.
It's a little bit, but I get it. So what can we do now? I mean, you're one of the few people, but where does that leave us? What are we supposed to do if we, I mean, what do you suggest? Where's the future of this? How do we create more interactions?
More interaction comes with more peace. The more we establish peace on the planet, we stop killing all life, we stop creating technologies of destruction, we show compassion for our brothers, and we follow the message of the highest avatar, the living word of God, the reflection of the theophanic angel, Archangel Michael, Jesus the Christ, one of the highest teachers possible in the physical plane. Our friend J.J. Hurtak will attest to that. So, not that we worship a being, but we worship that teaching. I said, I'm not comfortable with the worshiping of a being, and how can the all be in one? And they said, well, he is worthy of worship. They call him the firstborn of heaven, the first one from the third dimension to ascend to all the way up to the highest realm or dimension. And what did he teach us? He taught us that we're brothers and sisters of a living, loving God, that we should guard each other as the pupil of our eye, and that we should do unto others as we would have done unto us. And all of these messengers and avatars, Moses and the Buddha and the Krishna, all of these have taught the same message, and we sought to divide them and to egotistically put our interpretation or the priesthood's interpretation of them to make themselves more rich and powerful. For instance, I asked I asked to know more about the mission of Christ and all this stuff, and I said, so Raymond was given, the breastplate of Aaron and Moses,
Yeah, to enter the inner sanctuary. Yes,
right? The inner sanctuary had 12 stones on a plate,
right.
given 2 stones called the Urim and the Thummim, just like Joseph Smith was. They used to call the seer and the interpreter. And Joseph Smith got goggles, and so got glasses, and Raymond Keller got goggles. And this allowed him, they said, you can interpret, we want you to interpret any of the Bible scriptures that you would like. So Raymond decided to interpret the Nag Hammadi library of the Gospel of Jesus Christ, the Youth Gospel of Jesus Christ, the Acts of Thomas, and the uh, Gospel of Mary Magdalene.
Mhm.
And I was able, the only person he could tell that he had these technology for over a year. He sat in his room looking through these texts that were missing many pages. And
Mhm.
he could see exactly, even with one little piece of skin there, he interpreted, he'd go back into a bilocation signal into the past and interpret exactly what took place, what Thomas was intending to write, the thoughts of Jesus, the thoughts of the disciples. It's the most incredible Bible ever written.
And did he write it out in a book, you're saying?
It's
What's
called the
what's that
Gospel of
called?
Thomas. It's called the
What's it called?
Gospel of Thomas.
Oh, the Gospel of Thomas. Well, there's lots of translations of the Gospel of Thomas
It's
around.
an accurate one. It's full and all the missing pages are filled in. He wrote it like it was yesterday. It revealed a lot about the dark hierarchy of light and the relationship of what we would call the reptilians or Satans on the earth at that time.
So Keller is one of the few that have been to Venus and back, would you say?
Yeah, there's others, many others,
And
many.
and so
Yeah,
does he go voluntarily, or does it arrive and he just
of course.
he,
Well, the first time he was teaching English in Wuxi, China, and that woman who he had met in the 70s, and I think he met her again in 1980 or something, um, at Gabriel Green's house in Yucca Valley, where I used to go and get my training, and where Semyasi sent a Senate Master Hilarion sent Semyasi and a military guy to have a spaceship land in front of me on the desert. So most of my experiences were out of body, and the ships were coming down, the lights were falling to me, and I needed a tangible experience with other witnesses to help ground my experience in 1980. That occurred. So Gabriel Green was a lightning rod for kind of like James Gilliland on steroids, a little more
yeah.
personal, a little more intimate understanding of their technology. I'd go into his house and my girlfriend's hair would stand on end. Or you'd walk in, you'd say something, and the television in the other room would turn on. Or you'd say something, and a picture would tilt. And I go, what are they doing? He said, they're letting you know they're following the conversation and emphasizing some points that you and I are making.
Mhm.
And so that's how they work to establish my ET 101 for my contact experience.
So where does Fred Bell fit in? I met Fred Bell. I know his daughter and his pyramids, and he was a contactee, but he never talked about. I don't remember him talking about Venus, did he?
He did. He had a camera. He had a candle burning since the day I met him till the day he died to Sanat Kumara and Jesus Christ and to Gautama Maitreya in his house. They never went out. He always had backups on the pilot of his fireplace and of his stove and other rooms. So he always transferred this flame. It was a very special flame. Like in Tibet, they have candles that have been burning for about 1,000 years. It has a very unique essence to it. But Fred's contact was with the Pleiadians. He knew more than he could talk. And when he started to talk, the government did knock him off.
Oh, the government knocked Fred off.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
but
Jesse Ventura.
he was talking for a long time before they did that to him. I mean, he was out there
He,
for 20 years.
yeah. He's telling technology. He never talked about the intimate personal stuff. We had a lot of experiences at night in his house that can't really, I don't know, Semyasi was coming into the house and there was there's a lot of stuff going on there that's real personal that
Right.
doesn't really make sense
That's
with
okay.
what's going on yet.
So what do you want to do? What's your mission? I mean, what's the big picture here for you? And how can we also get involved?
My mission is to share the truth of love and peace and hope of the Venusians and the hierarchy of light. And um, like that, I was interesting that this woman I met, Commander Rains,
Mhm.
she was one of the major uh, supporters of many of the contactees at Giant Rock. And I'll show you some pictures of her to show you. This is going to give you a little understanding of how they changed their actual physical appearance. So here's a picture of her, and I kind of took the picture out originally, but I'm gonna get it open up here. But
Mhm.
um,
You've been working on this for a long time, ever since I heard about you, which may be 20 or
Yeah,
something.
I've been working about on this for quite a long time, actually. Yeah. So here's a picture of her when she won what's called the Queen of Outer Space.
Okay, was that a beauty contest or something?
Yeah, it was a giant rock.
Okay.
Okay,
Oh,
on the left is Frank Scully, the
mm,
original X-Files guy, and on the other side is Long John Nebel, who's known as the Art Bell of his day.
I didn't know him, but I would grow up listening to Long John Nebel. He was a huge influence on why I'm into all this stuff. And now, who is this woman we're looking at?
This her name during this time. Uh, this is Commander O'Raines, the woman I met, and you can see the difference between the way she looks. And I'm going to show you another picture that she decided to share with the photographer of this picture. She said, "I am from Venus," and
Oh, and where's is this also at
giant
the Giant Rock festivals? Yeah, they did the first UFO conferences. It's true.
rock, right?
I actually produced a film called "Calling All Earthlings" about George Van Tassel. Have you seen that film?
I haven't seen that one. I have a one, the brothers with Bob Short.
Oh,
He's a good.
look at "Calling All Earthlings." So this is her at Giant Rock at one of the UFO
She's
conferences.
that woman who went to Venus at her
Right.
birth, where she is smiling.
Uh-huh.
And I want you to notice her legs. They're quite stocky, quite unique.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
now I'm going to share a picture with you from my personal meeting. When I met her, she looked so different. Her teeth are different. Okay. So I wasn't sure until I saw this picture, until I saw her legs and really looked at them and go, that's her. And I said, why? I said,
Hello? I lost you. Oh, I lost I lost Rob Potter. Rob, are you there? Anyway, I was just going to call up a woman who I had heard of called Viv from Venus. Rob, if you're there, come back on. Um, Viv from Venus and a friend of mine named Alan White in New York actually recorded something and wrote about her. And let's see, this is some sound from that track that was recorded about Viv from Venus.
Viv trying to convince the public of her message and that she is from Venus through talk show appearances, loses her job and is locked out of her hotel room. Relaying this to Vicky and Aquarius, they ask her how she can.
I'm here. I'm here. Sorry. Hello? You're muted. The camera's off. Sorry. Alan? Alan, you're muted.
I was just playing a recording of a friend of mine who met a woman called Viv from Venus, and he wrote actually a musical about her. His name was Alan White, and he
Yeah.
was a jazz musician in the village, and he did a whole album connected to her. But yeah, I was just trying to fill
Even
in
had
time.
several chapters devoted to her in one of his books.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have one of the original manuscripts from Viv about that book from
Mhm.
Venus. And so, anyway, go back to what you were saying and how you knew the difference in that woman
Okay,
by her leg.
so here you better allow me to share the screen again.
Oh, right, 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 right. All right.
Sorry about that, folks.
Let me see. Okay, here we go. I'll make you co-host. There we go. Now you're co-host.
Okay, so this picture again, this is her, and during this time, she was a famous science fiction writer named Evelyn Smith. She wrote The Venus Trap and many other books. She had an Earth life. they walk and talk amongst us, live amongst us. So now I'm meeting her. Her real hair color is underneath the blonde duotone. But I'm going to share with you the other image of her with me when I met her at a library in Cheat
Oh, is
Lake.
that this? That's the same woman?
This is the same woman. You can see her eyes and the nose are very similar.
And her legs, right?
Her legs are the thing that really made me realize it. They wear a red beret because when she said, I've been serving the earth for 300 years. She was a confidant of, she worked with Thomas Jefferson, James Monroe, Thomas Paine, who wrote The Rights of Man, Benjamin Franklin. See, they were the resistance of the day, fighting the oligarchy of criminals in the crown. Now, she said in the committees of correspondence, which lasted 14 years, Thomas Jefferson and James Monroe were definitely anti-monarchists. Andrew Jackson and others were more aligned to England and wanted to keep the central bank and the crown because that's what they did. And during their administration, they did that. So what happened is she was also, see, back in the old days, the Masonic Lodge was a very positive lodge. It was a good job. In fact, the secret lodge called the Venus Lodge was run by Benjamin Franklin. And you know what they did, right? They did the Boston Tea Party.
Right.
So
I mean,
they were upsetting the apple cart.
they could have been related to even the Theosophists, whose, you know, the first book
Very
was
much so.
Isis Unveiled, which was the unveiling of that, you know, cosmic feminine force, right?
That's good you know that. So
Of
that's
course I know that.
well, it's an esoteric. Adam Blavatsky's first book was History of a Planet. It was about Venus.
Yeah.
So, and that's highly talked about and referred to in terms of the ascended masters and the understanding of the multidimensional universe and the divine plan. Now, I asked, so she was in the Masonic Lodge in France. It was called Les Neuf Soeurs. She was one of the 9 muses. She was the secretary for Jean Sylvian Bailey. And
I don't know. Who's that? I don't
he's
know that.
a French astronomer. And so she was influencing, and that's why they wear the red beret.
So when was the last time you saw this woman?
I only met her once.
Oh, in that picture. What year was that?
That was in 1919, and they postponed the interview, Alan, for an hour. We're supposed to meet certain. They said that we're going to meet you a little bit later in an hour because it was the exact 67th anniversary to the hour of the meeting between Orthon and George Adamski.
Oh. So anyway, what is that woman you're saying goes back and forth between Venus and Earth? Is that what you're saying?
They all go back and forth. Some of them come down here for the duration, but not many. If they come down on a mission and they get married or fall in love or something, then they do stay. But most of them come here on temporary missions and are dual citizens.
Well, wouldn't you want to be taken to that planet since you've done so much work? Isn't that part of your goal?
Maybe one day I will. I mean, I'm not attached to my rewards coming. I know that the whole Federation just recently at my conference, a new contactee is going to reveal some tremendous information. And he's been contacted by some beings of a very high order, 9-foot tall beings. He's been taken up, looking down, being with the Andromeda galaxy. He's going to be releasing some incredible information. And they told him we're coming very soon. We must teach people to pray and to forgive each other and to be kind to each other because there's big changes coming. They say soon. To them, it could be 5 years soon. But I anticipate within a couple years, massive demonstrations that are going to make all of this nonsense showing the UAP photo and the pilot thing with the little, it's all nonsense. It's a dog and pony show of lies and deceit.
So when is that going to change? When will that change?
I ask each person to look in the mirror and ask yourself that.
Okay, I've done that, and I've said soon. But what on a global scale? when do you think? I mean, why don't they just show up in mass?
That's what I
Land.
asked them. I asked them, and they said, "Look, we have to make the decisions ourselves." It was
Right.
decided at the Teotihuacan Grand Council 14,000 years ago, and another one at 16,000 years ago, when the final sinking of Atlantis was taking place before the flood and all that, that they were all worried what was going on, the Earth people and all that stuff. The portals were disappearing, that would allow them, they could transport inside the Earth, off planet, through portals naturally. The Earth fell out of that kind of higher state. We fell from paradise, and more of a veil came between us. And it was decided at that time, because much of the problems were coming here from the extraterrestrial races that had vested interest here. So,
Yeah, but that's
some of them
changed now.
wanted us to have technology.
But that's not happening now, right? That's over.
It still is happening, a little bit of Wizard of Oz behind the curtain of the bad guys and the good guys, but the good guys are being ejected now. Ancient covenants and agreements have been ended, and multiple cycles have come to a close, allowing for a new relationship and a new Earth to stand on its own 2 feet. And the galactic enforcement, universal enforcement, is vaporizing the fallen ones that were cast inside the Earth, and all of their technologies, and all the humans that are involved in trying to subjugate their fellow man are dying in droves now. And
do you listen to Elena Dene, Michael Salas?
I try to speak to her. Michael's a little, I respect Michael as a great writer.
What about Elena Dene? Do you know her work?
Elena Denon.
Yes.
I believe she's had real contacts.
Yeah.
She has her own apperception. She knows nothing, zero of the history of the Venusian contact. But I met Valiant Thor too in 2003. Now, my meeting with him was like 20 minutes. Now, she had an open meeting and talked to him. And she said, I showed her my pictures. And she said, they would never talk about religion. I said, Elena, calm down. I said, they're not talking about religion. They're talking about spiritual truth and the avatar and the message of Christ. And she said, oh, no, that's not, she's a pagan, right? She likes it.
I don't know what she is.
She's a pagan, and I respect her. I believe her story is real. I believe she's sincere. I believe she's a wonderful marketing. She's got a lot of videos every 2 seconds. I see something coming up.
Well, I think she's really looking for the higher level of truth, trying to bring hope.
I respect that.
Yeah, I do.
But she didn't resonate with me and Michael Sala. He said, the cigar ships, there's some negative groups that have cigar ships. And so Michael Sala chimed in the other day. I guess that's going to surprise a lot of people. Maybe Adamski and George Van Tassel and the whole movement of the 50s was working with the negative side.
No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
He just likes to start the fire a little bit.
I don't know. I think everyone, and I'm a little more conservative. I try to talk about the philosophical aspects of this. What does this mean? How do we change our perception of reality? That's where, and I'm open to meeting beings. I've met beings in my dreams. So
that's the important part.
Yeah, well, it's a start. So, I do believe the inner earth is real. I do think there's beings inside that are trying to help us clean our atmosphere. So, what do you think? So, you're saying when the government shifts and people need to stay open, but you're holding this conference on Mount Shasta, and hopefully people will have contact there, right? Is this what people are going to Shasta for?
Well, our sky watches, people have contacts and see ships. They're sending, when the ships come and the pulses come, they're activating certain information within you, higher frequencies, as the Queen said. And I want to say, Michael, I really do respect him as a great writer. I think he's sincere.
I think everyone's sincere, and they're working with the experience that they know to be true. Even you, people can say some things about you, Rob, and they have probably, but I wanted to give you a chance and understand, because I never really heard your whole story, and I'm open to, why not? It's not any stranger than anything else anyone else has been saying over the last, that I've met in the whole UFO field, right? If it could be Syrians or Pleiadians, why can't there be more local types, right?
There are. Our local confederation comprises the Arcturians, the Syrians, the Venusians, the Saturnians, and many others. And like um, I gave Michael Sella 6 of Raymond's books. He quoted him 19 times, never gave us a thank you. I was kind of surprised he didn't want to ever interview Raymond. But a lot of people don't understand because he's a very kind and gentle and humble man. He doesn't
Well,
talk about his experiences so much as I talk.
I want to interview Raymond. Is it possible that we can do an interview where
Yeah, he'd love to. Yeah.
he'll talk about his experience on Venus? You're saying he actually went to the surface of Venus in his body.
For 2 months, and he was allowed to look at the Akashic records. And every day he went to the Akashic records. He went up to the Ascended Master Moria and said, "Can I look at the Akashic records?" And he said, "Yes." And he asked the Queen, he says, "They don't normally let people going back to Earth look at the Akashic records." And he said, I asked the Master of Moria, and he said, "Yeah." And she talked to him, and she went in. They go, "Queen, congratulations, you're the new queen." She goes, "Show him how to use the Akashic records."
Well, isn't the Akashic record? Doesn't everyone have their own Akashic record file? I mean, when you say the Akashic records, it's massive.
Right.
I mean,
There's the entire solar system is kept on some underneath the ice and in the crystal caves of Uranus. That's where the entire solar system records are kept. Each planet has its own Akashic records too.
And what do you find? What did he find in the records there?
Everything he first looked at his past lifetimes. His first lifetime on Earth was as the poet Virgil Publius Maro, who was a scribe for the very first Caesar. He wrote the book called the Aeneid about the founding of Rome.
Rome, yeah.
And once the first Caesar said something, he wrote it down and became law. He wrote some poems to a woman named Lady Ankara. They eventually became lovers, and she revealed to him that she was from Venus. Lady Ankara, yeah.
No, I want to know about the history of the rest of the solar system. I know literature. Yes, I know Virgil. It's actually prophetic. They say if you open the Aeneid, it will tell your fortune. So, but talk about the rest of the Akashic records, the history of the rest of the solar system: Mars, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn. What did he find there?
I don't know. You'd have to ask him. He focused on Earth and Venus. He's a researcher. And so he has an excellent command of the English language. He's now written 9 books, including a biblical gospel, which is the most accurate because it was written like it was done yesterday with modern annotations. And he could see it. He kept looking back. So, "Can you go back and look?" He goes, "Yeah, I can go back to page 42 and see Jesus sitting around the fire cooking a fish with the disciples. I can see what they're thinking and what he says and what he meant." And the gospel of Mary Magdalene after his death, the disciples said, "You were closest to Jesus. Tell us what he said." And she talked about his time in India, where he learned about the 4 noble truths of the Buddha.
Right. But is there anything that we don't know that he found out?
Yeah, you're going to have to read his many books. He's got so many books. There's things I don't even know that he found out.
Oh, there's a couple of people online that says they'll be at the conference. Brad M. Brad met Raymond Keller.
Brad Marcus, yeah.
Yeah, where is Keller now?
He's still in, I think he's in he'll be in Innsbruck. I think Zurich. He's going to Zurich on his next talk. He's still hanging around in Germany and Austria now.
What does he talk about when he goes talking?
He talks about, he's got like 40 PowerPoints and, 500 slides, and he can go into nerd land on the history of Adamski, and he can go into every contactee from the 50s and talk about historical things, the silence group, the government cover-ups, the lies, etc.
And why do you think that's still happening, the government cover-ups? Why?
They're definitely scared because when we find out that they've got supersonic speed trains and we're dealing with gasoline, they have cures for healing technologies, they're keeping us ill for their own profit and gain, people would be very upset. But they're basically about control and power. And all the people that are supporting them are into human trafficking and drugs and all this stuff. It's absolute corruption, and that's why the abomination must be destroyed.
All right, but besides that, thank you for that. But how people are saying, I mean, that's a given, but people are asking, how do you get to be contacted? People want to be contacted by these beings. How did you? I mean, you put your whole time into this, but people want contact.
Me personally, it's a lifetime. I'm from Venus, and I have a mission here. I've served on Venus. I've lived on Pleiades for lifetimes, and for me, I'm kind of continuing on. And I just say I'm an early. Many people are from outer space, and they're coming here. In fact, most people are coming here from other worlds. That's why the world seems foreign to them. They're learning a tremendous amount. This earth has a tremendous amount of darkness and a tremendous amount of light and beauty. And right now, the wheat is growing alongside the chaff. And we're coming to a separation point here very quick. Well, those who are following orders and submission and fear, and those who are promoting fear and stealing and lying and cheating for tinsel and trash of material gain over fellowship and cooperation with the natural laws of the universe will become more apparent. Those in the more, what we would call the darker side, will find it more difficult to sustain their life as the frequencies of the planet go. It's really about frequencies. So raising your frequency, keeping an open heart and mind, and going to these groups and showing your interest, and knock upon the door of the light, and let the door open and let light come in. Light is knowledge and knowledge is power. That's why they keep the knowledge from us, because they keep us disempowered.
Right, but it is all changing when we take back our power, as we push for the truth. Some things that we're at the threshold of a new time. I really think we are. And
You're absolutely correct, Alan.
And something's going to shift in the next couple of years, which will show what the world, the universe, the cosmos, who we are, is really made of. That we're
That's happening right now. We're just not seeing it because they control the media. It's absolute.
Well, I also have I have a whole series coming up. I'll show you what's coming up for me. I've showed this before on this channel, but I thought you might like to see this. Is a series. You see that blank screen there?
Mm-hmm.
This is a series I'm doing with a lot of our favorite UFO researchers.
Mm-hmm.
From deep, deep in outer space to planet Earth, to the red rocks of Sedona, to our online community here, comes a time, a message, a special series on making contact.
There is no better time for making contact. I'm George Noory, host of the national radio show Coast to Coast AM. Alan Steinfeld has put together a well-conceived collection that covers it all.
Thanks, George, for that introduction. This is Alan Steinfeld, the editor and author of Making Contact, which is a collection of writings of the best and brightest people in the field of ufology. I'm putting together a special series of some of these fantastic contributors to my book. People like Whitley Strieber, Linda Moulton Howe, Carolyn Cory, Nick Pope, JJ and Desiree Hurtak, Adam Apollo, the alien lady Marie Rodwell, and such contactees as Marina Sarin and Kamara Jones and the art of Kamara Jones, plus some very special surprises in the field. Please join me for this fantastic series of dialogues as I dive deeper into anything I've done before. For more information and for a complete description of the 5-week course, go to makingcontactseries.com. George, any final comments?
The contributions of all these people help to give insight into the multifaceted intentions of the phenomena, because making contact presents the opportunity for us to prepare to meet advanced civilizations. Someday, somehow in the future, the conflicts that have plagued our species for eons will come to an end. And by making contact, we will take our rightful place among the stars.
The Making Contact series is presented by Alan Steinfeld and New Realities, Deborah Giusti and the Global Peace Tribe, in association with Neil Gar, Portal to Ascension, and Star Family Wisdom. Join us for this online series, Making Contact, the New Realities of Disclosure and Cosmic Awakening, Thursdays beginning May 19th from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Pacific Time. To find out more and to sign up, go to makingcontactseries.com. See you there. So I'm about halfway through that series. If you sign up, you'll get all the free replays. This will not be seen. Yeah. If you want to come and check it out, Rob, I'll send you a link. But we're all doing our piece, is what I'm saying. You're doing your piece, and it's all about bringing a different level of vibration to the planet. So don't you think the Venusians will show up in greater numbers now because we're more open to their vibration?
Yeah, I'm anticipating that at some point. I know that, I asked them, I said, so why are there so many different contactees telling different stories? And Alon, the security chief, he's 2,400 years old. He was born in the 2600 under the first emperor Darius the Great. He was a Zoroastrian beekeeper in that tradition. And he said, Rob, he said, you got to realize each extraterrestrial federation or alliance has its own agenda. Each star family or planet within that alliance has its own agenda. The representative that talks to a person from Earth has its own agenda. Then you have to go through the filters and the belief systems of that contactee. And so with the widely varying dimensional shifts of these beings and the gravity and the culture and the history, each contactee is going to have a different understanding, and when she said a lot of people complain when I was political, that was me. It's like, what do the Pleiadians are talking and telling what's going on. You guys won't even really come out against the vaccines. They said, look, we just believe in telling the truth, and we're not going to focus on the bad stuff. So,
right. I don't like to focus on the bad stuff either. And I don't want to even talk about all that stuff because I don't want to jeopardize this channel because people are, reactive, and there is a thought control over that's why the people's movement is really what we need to support. And it's about each of us really making contact with the forces that are talking to us all the time. I mean, we are in a process of a huge transformation on the planet, and we are citizens of many, many worlds. So I think you're doing a great job on, let's see what else. After financial transition, there are loads of projects ready to be implemented. Thank you, Narda. But yeah, so this is the beginning of a new time, and we're all planting seeds for a really peaceful planet, a planet where we can go and visit these other worlds. But why doesn't some rich billionaire build a ship and just go to Venus? What would be the response?
Billionaires are part of the problem.
Yeah, I know that.
But Dr. Evil there in his penis-shaped spaceship going up. That was so funny. That guy.
No, but we have the capabilities of going to Venus beyond government.
They're not allowed there. Cory,
so if they were to attempt to go to Venus, what would happen to their ship?
They would just be turned around. They know they just would hit a wall. They can't go there. They monitor them. They let them come around and see something, and then they push them away. There's a cloaked moon up there called Neath. The
cloaked moon of Venus? There's a cloaked moon of Venus.
Moon called Neath, yeah. And that's a full defensive platform. They own the moon right now for us.
They own our moon.
The backside is an embassy. Many species.
Venusian embassy. And you also said there's life on Mars, but it doesn't seem to be on the surface because we haven't found anything on the surface of Mars. Is it underground?
You're not being told the truth. So there's life everywhere. In a higher dimension, it's like the dimensions interpenetrate each other. The higher ones can come down. We have to be augmented to go up. Now, the woman, for instance, they can, they actually have this long life type technology that they can actually. They do clone bodies. And that's how they appear to us as different looking people. So,
isn't it amazing how fantastic the universe really is compared to what we have just been told is true? I mean, there's so much there that would be so exciting for people to know about. They would just love to hear what's really going on.
I'll show you what's going on the backside of the moon here.
Oh, what's this? Yeah, show us. What are you showing?
Lady Venus Lady Columba, Venus Revelations, the blonde girl I showed you next to the Indian woman.
Yeah.
The red gray. Okay, she went up to the moon, was taken up in 1958, and she was able to witness a council. And this is what happened to her. She was telling people when she's 95 years old, I'm not going to die, I'm going to go to Venus. She was bought back in 1961, and she wrote this book. No one would publish it. It was too far out there. But
What was the name of the book?
It's called Lady Columba, Venus Revelations.
Oh, is it published now?
It is now. Dr. Raymond Keller has it published.
Oh,
And here, I'll show it to you right here.
okay. Okay, so what?
I wrote the introduction. It's a warning. She was.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, what's happening in this picture? What are we seeing as the
What
thought
we're
process?
seeing is what happened to her, but she drew this picture of another Earth woman who went through a form of ascension called translation. So, she drew this picture. It's in the Tucson Library, and they said they would transport her essence or DNA to their clarion, the backside of the moon base, on the far side of the moon, where it would be reconstituted in a new body and reanimated with an infusion of her consciousness that had been previously downloaded in a special computer. So this is Lady Columba. She went to sleep one night, and this is what happened. She woke up with a master over her shining rainbow light into her essence as it was put into her new body. Now, that the Queen told me that they can extend the lifespan. Here's another image that she took, and one of the main reasons she went up there. Raymond puts a lot of pulp culture pictures in here in reference, and he hides all of his deep metaphysical knowledge within here. He's a really high level adept. But this book was written by her, but he adds all of the modern day images and stuff to share about it. So when she was up there, the Russians were trying to set up a bomb on the moon, and before they said they were going to blow up the moon, so they made the Russian ship with 3 astronauts blow themselves up on the front side of the moon. Then they sent up a follow-up probe with an astronaut, and they pulled him down, and he ended up living on the moon with her and came back and lived in America for the rest of his life. Now, here, this is an original picture of George Adamski with 2 women that Raymond knows. And this is Lady Orda, but she said, tell him I'm a man. And she was holding what was called a universal translator. She could speak English with a Spanish accent, as you heard, but she wanted to test his heart. And she said he has a good heart. This is a Mars radio sonde of a monolith. The Venusians have put them all throughout the galaxy so they can maintain radio contact no matter what planet is rotating where. They have complete 100% coverage of the Earth. So now I'm going to show you the picture of a local council on a ship above the moon called the Leviathan, above the cloaked moon of Venus called the Leviathan.
Wait, what book are we looking at here, though? What is
Lady
this?
Columba, Venus Revelation.
That's the one you just held up. Okay, yeah.
It's the same
And where
book.
can people get these books?
They're on my website, and you can
The Promise Revealed. Okay.
.net. You can also get them on Amazon. But money goes directly to Raymond. He'd appreciate it if you buy it through me.
Okay.
I don't care. I don't make, there's no money for, as you know now, there's no money for authors these days, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, if they buy enough books, that's why I want to keep pushing this stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I'm trying to find the. So what happened was she was taken up, and they let her attend this meeting here, and this meeting is this is being that picks him up Vorton. There's the woman I know, the commander of the moon base. This was drawn in 1950s, ladies and gentlemen. Here you see a blue avian being.
How do you know it's blue?
Because they told me.
Okay.
Lady Columba told him these are blue beings. This is a little Ganesha being over here. Look at that. Are you looking? There you go. There's a little bit.
I see it.
I
see. Yeah. That's from where are those Ganesha beings from?
I don't know, but these are all from our local confederation. Little beings. There's a little human bee hybrid, and they all have different sounds and different atmospheres that they require. And so they had this meeting and they were discussing one of the 8 parallel Earths as they look into the future and monitor the flow of time on 8 different Earths. And on one Earth, Earth number 4, there was a stranglet and toplet bombs were dropped and the planet was due for destruction. And so this book actually acts as a warning to the people of Earth. And what they did was they sent people ahead into the future looking in probes to see what was going on. Then they put boots on the ground. They said it's hopeless. The war is going to happen. So this meeting took place, probably several others with different groups, and they agreed to assist this parallel Earth in the future time of 2065 to recover from this nuclear war. Right before the war took place, they evacuated massive numbers of people who had attained the right spiritual vibration. The rest of them laid in wait until the bombing took place. And as soon as the bombing commenced, they dropped a series of what we would recognize as green fireballs to neutralize radiation.
Right.
And that precipitated an axial flip of the planet, which caused a large 5,000 or more foot tsunami to cover the United States and all these other countries. And Atlantis and Lemuria rose during this time. And so this book talks about her time. The delegate from the interior of the Jovian moons was elephantine in origin, a little bit larger and fat than the rest. This had long, flappy ears, trunk like from the Earth-type world orbiting close to the red dwarf star known as Wolf 39, the constellation of Leo, about 8 light years distance from our solar system, evolved from a turtle form, but had a bigger head, shorter neck, and usable hands. The skin was spotted with forearms and a row of diamond bright eyes. The elders of many Native American tribes have taught us that the planet Earth is known as Turtle Island by our brothers and sisters from the sky realms. So in here, it says, in here, so this is a far out story. They wouldn't even print it, but Raymond made it palatable in our year and age. But one of the things that happened was they actually helped the people rebuild. She said, as soon as the bombing took place and the horror was there, she said, all the bigotry, all the hatred, all the fear, all of the aggression that had built up between the two superpowers of Earth that ended in their mutual destruction could be put aside. The sluice gates of information could open to their minds as they saw the destruction. There was a lot of radiation. And through the 26 years that she served, going back and forth from present-day Venus to their future, she recounts many of their technologies helping them. For instance, they had these huge ships. They'd lay the light down. The ship would go over, lay the light, would create a flat ground for a foundation. Then they put a foundation on. Then they build this, and they build the structure. So the Venusians, and in this ship, you can see the crew's quarters are kind of small. But Raymond said what they do is they build, the room is built inside the ship. So they have, you want a kitchen? You push a button, the kitchen comes up. You want a bathroom? You push a bathroom, comes up. You want a living room comes up. So they utilize their space by, rotating what.
Right. So when you don't want the kitchen disappears. Is that it?
Into the wall or underneath. I don't know. It's pretty cool.
I could use that in my apartment in New York, I think.
In New York, for sure, right?
But anyway, this is very exciting. And what's the latest you're hearing as we move towards this crucial point?
Well, I haven't asked questions from them for some time. I use my privilege very sparingly, and I ask a lot of questions, and many times they don't even bother answering because I get too political. They're always here to guide us in love and consciousness. They said, we don't need faith. And I said, why? And Valiant Thor says, because we know those beings. We see those beings. We interact with them. We know these beings are real. We don't have to act in faith. So,
well, no, I really appreciate you coming on the show. People are really excited. We have a lot of people in the chat. So how can they tolerate so much pain here is one question. How did the
It's
Venusians?
action. It's they end the messages that I could play. And you can hear them. I'm going to play every message that they've ever given me at the conference. They say it saddens us to see your people being abused with so many endless laws and ordinances. And they said by following the precepts of the Anointed One, who came to your world to teach the message of love and hope, you will garner for yourself life both happy, prosperous, and eternal. Now, the one person who talked about the financial system, that is coming, but right now the governments are blocking that money. And the only way it's going to come is through the local. It's not coming through any form of government. It's not coming through any group of white hats. It's coming from the grassroots organization of local assemblies. Each county will be given money and be able to submit bills or projects to the World Trust or World Restoration Plan. That is coming right now.
Aren't we doing away with money? Isn't money sort of a?
Eventually, but people need it right now. It's
All right.
represented on Venus. It's all done by a credit system, not like one that's going to restrict you.
Well,
Like
I don't think. I think in a free and open society, people give and receive because that's just a very compassionate way of living, you know. And if they're following their highest excitement, they're doing what they love. Some people, you know, love to grow food or, you know, pick up garbage or teach school. I mean, everybody. So I think that's what we're evolving into. So talk a little bit as we close up here about the conference, July 7th. You want to show that screen again?
like 7th through 10th in Mount Shasta, California, and I'll show it to you. It's going to be
Yeah, because I want people to come because it's going to be talking about a lot of this sort of stuff, but even more. And
here on this website, the Promise
okay,
Revealed, and you're going to go to visit the site here. I have a lot of good, interesting things and products and stuff, events. The truth references.
July 7th to the 10th. Wait, just go back a little bit. Who's going to be there? I just want to go back and look
Laura
at.
Eisenhower, Raymond Keller, Alice Collier, Vivian.
So Raymond Keller is going to be there, you're
Oh,
saying?
yeah. Lowell Johnson, Neil Gar was coming. He flaked again. Maureen St.
Oh, Neil's a good friend. I know more. I know most of these people.
He's told me he's coming twice and canceled on me.
Well, Dennis Adams. I like Dennis. Next year I'll be there. Okay.
Yeah, good. You were invited this year, so we got.
I know. I'm just not in the area, but
yeah, it's okay. We got a lot of good stuff. I'm trying to get JJ up here, but
I don't think he's going to make it this year. But maybe.
Maybe one day.
Yeah. But what else you got? So okay, to register for the conference though, where do they go?
They go right here. They go here to here, and then
PromiseRevealed.net. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
and we only have 3-day tickets left, so you come down here, and you're going to click on this ticket to get tickets here, and then you're also going to be able to see all of the workshops and information. So we have 1-day tickets, and then we have 3-day tickets left for $350, and then the other place you can go right here is the conference daily schedule, so you can see. And we have workshop titles. Some people are doing the talk titles, and then each day we have like a Thursday schedule, and that's one room. And then we have like most of them are like this. It's a 4-day schedule, and it's jam packed. We've got the Masonic Lodge that's going, and then we got the Upper Lodge simultaneously, and then we got.
What's the like general cost of ticket? What do you think?
It's $350 right now.
All right.
We did have some early birds and discounts and stuff, but it's really good. And you don't want to spend all your time inside, folks. This mountain has got a glacial lake, natural, a man-made lake. Bring up your bikes, your kayaks, your sups. You got hiking on the mountain. You got Panther Meadows. You can go on the Vortex workshop with the guy to the actual location where the mountain opens up. It won't open for you, but you'll bask in the vibrations.
You never know.
Yeah,
Panther Meadows is where Saint Germain appeared to Godfrey Ray King.
That's correct.
Right? The I Am. So it is it can be a little weird at times. There's some weird ETs that some people I know met there as well. So
there's definitely all kinds of beings in the universe. The government does have they're trying to take advantage of the portal, and they've got secret bases there for years, and they were trying to use them recently, and that stuff's getting taken out. If they're warned not to use it, and now if they use it, the rules have changed, and there's death and destruction for those that are violating God's law now.
Well, thank you, Rob, for sharing your wisdom and your research for years. I know I've heard about your name. I met you recently, but I think you got something. I think you do. I think there's something.
I'm very fortunate. I met Valiant Thor. I met his wife Jill. I met a lot of Venusians in my life, and I'm very fortunate. They confirmed all my meetings and my meetings with Semyasi. They're very kind to tell me some things about my service, and I'm trying to be honest and sincere. And you can't get a big head. It's not about making money and promoting and doing all this. It's about sharing the truth and getting people to be kind to each other and to treat each other nicely.
And I don't think we have to be against people in charge. They're just following orders, and what we try. Right, but I think what most of us can do is open their minds, open our minds, send out that higher vibration, and I think that's maybe how the world changes. So people,
I think maybe we just let them retire into obscurity after some arrests and some checking.
It's changing. I hope people show up tomorrow night at makingcontactseries.com. I'm interviewing Linda Moulton Howe, Whitley Strieber, and Kamara Jones, who actually, do you know the artwork of Kamara Jones?
I just saw one picture. That's amazing.
It is amazing. Let me see if I could bring something up here that will really blow your mind, because she draws these otherworldly beings. Let me see if I can find one of hers.
The guy from Inside the Earth that was there, he was inside, and etched on one of the crystals was the design from this woman who's incredibly artistic and beautiful, Haruko. And her art is amazing.
Oh yeah, Lowell talks about her. Yes.
Amazing. She just kind of looks like her. Check this out. So she does some art that's very similar.
Oh yes.
I got some amazing straight lines. I said, I don't know how she does it. I said, do you ever use a ruler? She says no. She puts dots down, but
she's located in the town of Shasta. Yes.
She plays a flute, and some of these, I think this is the temple one that's in the mountain, etched on a crystal.
Yeah, that's what Lowell told me. You should look at my interview with Lowell. He gave me the whole rundown of his visit there. But let me also just show. I know Eric. Yeah, let me just show you this. These are some of Kamara's. Do you see these pictures on your screen?
Wow, yeah.
That's light language inside these beings. And there's this other one here. Do you see that one now too? The black and white one. Do you see the black and white one there?
No, it's not filtering yet. But
okay. Let me stop sharing.
The black and white was very beautiful.
Yeah, that light one is great, but here's the other one, because it is a very spiritually. You see that?
Wow.
Yeah, she is a great communicator of these higher levels of knowledge. So
he needs to meet Haruko. Those two should collaborate.
Yes. No, I'm talking to her tomorrow about the source of that art. So come to makingcontactseries.com. Rob Potter, you're based in Shasta, right?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Since 2017 full time. My son was born here. I came here in '94. And I've moved away. I live in Hawaii and Laguna Beach, and I finally 7 years ago just said I'm going to live here full time. So that's what I'm doing.
Oh yeah, it's Art. Someone asked. Arch Soldier 77 is her Instagram. Art Soldier 77. Oh, 77. Kamara Jones. I don't think I wrote. No, it's Art Soldier. I'm not writing it. Art.
Soldier.
Soldier, DER 77. Yeah, that's her Instagram. And then she'll be interviewed with Linda Moulton Howe and Whitley Strieber tomorrow at makingcontactseries.com. Her name is Kamara Jones. Very interesting person. Thanks, Rob, for your input today.
Thank you so much. I'm going to check her out. There it is. Kamara.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah,
All
she's
right.
great. Very intelligent. We're going to have a really intelligent conversation tomorrow night.
Thank you
All
guys.
right.
It's very much a pleasure. Maybe we'll see you in Shasta next year, Alan. God bless you.
Definitely.